Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And we just came back from the Speed Force to give you a review and recap and some Easter eggs of The Flash Season 3, Episode 4, The New Rogues. Be warned, my little speedsters, there will be spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched tonight's episode, you want to come back later. The episode opens on a flashback of 3 years ago where we see Captain Cold and where he was the night of the particle accelerator explosion, when he busts in on Sam Scudder and his girlfriend the Top, basically trying to kill them for spending all their money. We come back to the present, we see that Barry is training Jessie in the particle accelerator, and Jessie is basically wearing a trajectory suit now. We also see that Wally and Jessie are getting closer and holding hands, and makes Harrison Wells says, "No touching!" But then Cisco and Caitlin both want Harrison Wells to stick around, but he comes with the idea, let's get a Harrison Wells from the multiverse. Gotta get back to Earth 2, if you know what I'm saying. Barry and Iris have a stay-in date when suddenly Joe West breaks in and Barry uses his super speed to make it seem like he wasn't kissing his dad's daughter. Yeah, I know that doesn't make sense, but it is kind of awkward. Let's talk about this. It is kind of awkward, although I thought it was a very funny scene of Barry just being like, I'm gonna kiss Iris, and then running away because he didn't want to talk about Joe. Joe didn't want to talk about his two kids, basically his kids, dating. What do you think about this?
I mean, it is a little weird when you consider it from the Joe perspective, although I will say if you watched other CW shows, I kind of thought it was gonna go further than it did go.
Whoa, okay.
I was a little surprised that we cut it off the way we cut it off, but how are you gonna avoid the Barry speeding away? It's like having Barry have to go 2 places on a date. It was really funny, and it does more to just add to the Joe and Barry relationship, which is one of my favorites on the show.
Well, let's bring this up as well. I have been a huge fan of Barry and Patty from last season. Batty, as I like to call them. I'm not a big fan of Barris.
West Allen is what
I don't care. I'm calling him Barris.
Barris.
I'm not a fan of Barris, but this season it's kind of working for me. How is it working for you?
I agree. I wasn't a West Allen fan or a Barris fan,
Barris.
Before, but I don't know.
Barris.
I don't know if the writing is better. I don't know if their chemistry is better, but
or maybe Candace Patton is suddenly better.
I don't know, but I feel like this season is the first season where I believe that they are destined to be together.
Yes.
And I want them to be together. Before I always thought it felt really contrived because he was always so much better with Felicity or Patty or like literally anyone else. But I'm enjoying it this season.
Well said, destined to be together. Next, Mirror Master gets out of his mirror prison and he's looking for Captain Cold. Barry and Joe have a very awkward talk and Joe's just like, do what you gotta do, which is actually kind of weird because Joe is basically giving Barry permission to do whatever he wants to his daughter. Good one, Joe. Harrison Wells sends a interesting, beautiful mind program out to the other Harrison Wells of the multiverse. And we see Jessie and Wally getting a little forward and getting a little kissy-kissy. Finally, Sam Scudder appears, which leads to Harrison Wells naming him Mirror Master, and he reveals that the Sam Scudder from his Earth on Earth 2 has a mirror gun. Cisco finally names the girlfriend named the Top, and Sam Scudder takes the Top straight out of prison, and he reveals to his girlfriend that he has been stuck in a mirror for 3 years. Okay, we are here. The Top, generally a man. In this is a woman. We have Mirror Master. Now, I get that the Mirror Master's costume's kind of silly. It's green, it's orange, it has little fins on his head. This, we went Sam Scudder in a suit.
Yes.
What did we think of Mirror Master and the Top, and Mirror Master and the Top being a couple?
Okay, I have a lot of thoughts about this because I actually really like it. Because if you go back and look at how these characters started, Roscoe Dillon, that's the male Top, and in the show she's Rosalind Dillon, very nice. Roscoe Dillon and Sam Scudder are kind of the same thing. Roscoe Dillon is like a petty criminal who's obsessed with tops, and Sam Scudder is a petty villain who's obsessed with being
mirrors.
inside a mirror. So, like, just because they were created around the same time, comics were different. So I like the thing about making them a couple because they do team up a lot, and that way the stakes are immediately higher. Plus, the Top also has a really silly costume, but the second outfit that she wears, it's like a green suit with yellow highlights, and it's a callback to that, and it's such a wonderful interpretation.
The yellow and green stripes are in her skirt.
Yes.
Which I think is a good choice. Let's also talk about that her powers in this seem very similar to Count Vertigo from Arrow.
That's the thing that I thought was less good about this interpretation. I'm mostly on board with it, but why would you do Count Vertigo? Why would you not take this opportunity to have her do the, the spinning around top thing and then counter it with the wind tunnels and the cyclones that the speedsters make?
Now, I'm also going to throw out this. I thought that both actors were kind of weak. I didn't think they were that strong.
Okay.
But I thought in the scenes that they had together were great. I thought they kind of evened themselves out. But when it was just him or like just her in the prison cell talking to Joe, I really didn't buy it. But when they were together, they had enough chemistry to carry me through it.
Yeah, you believe that they really liked each other, which is good for characters in a relationship.
Or love-hate each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it gives me hope that we're probably going to see them again in the future, that maybe they could get to be really
100%.
great.
I think there is no doubt that we see them several times. I think that they're trying to make these two the new Heatwave Captain Cold, or Flash.
Yeah.
Next, we meet all the wild Harrison Wells of the universe. Steampunk from Earth 17, a French Harrison Wells mine, and an Earth 19 Harrison Wells with just the hat. I want to know, why can't we just have Earth 2 Harry? I really like Earth 2 Harry. Why does it gotta go? Then there's an awkward movie watching scene, but it gets interrupted by a robbery at First National, and we get to see the Top's awesome new skirt, which looks exactly like the comic book costume. And then it becomes Flash versus Mirror Master, and a really cool mirror chase that I thought looked really neat with all these different versions of Mirror Master hopping in and out of the building. Unfortunately, Jessie Quick gets vertigo, because she has to get, of course, depowered by a discount Count Vertigo. And Mirror Master traps Barry in a giant reflection in a door. Now, I really dug this because, again, I've been saying for seasons upon seasons that Mirror Master is the villain that needs to come to the Flash, simply for the fact that because of his power with mirrors, he can keep up with a speedster. And he's not a speedster, as we saw in this giant sequence, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And I love Barry getting trapped in the door because that alludes to something that Flash fans know from the comic books, Mirror World.
Yes.
Which is the little weird dimension that Mirror Master actually uses to travel from mirror to mirror. And there have been storylines where the Flash has gotten trapped in Mirror World. I hope that Barry getting trapped is a setup for Mirror World to come somewhere down the line.
Nice.
Yeah, something like that. What did you think about this sequence? Like, I didn't really like that Jessie Quick got took out pretty quickly, but it is her first day as a superhero.
It's like her second day, technically.
True.
I didn't like that either. To me, it's like, oh, we're gonna incapacitate the girls, okay. And I was like, well, fine, whatever. I really liked the way it was shot. It was set up like a Scooby-Doo fun house, which has that like retro Silver Age of Comics feel, where I think the Flash really excels at interpreting. And by having the chase go all the way outside and they're all along the buildings,
and up the building, down the building,
you're right.
yeah.
It's epic in a way that's not just two dudes racing, which is great, but we've seen it for 3 seasons now. It's a fresh take on something that we're familiar with.
We then get a really terrible joke by Iris that says, "Does this make my butt look big?" And Barry's like, "Come on, I'm in the mirror." But then eventually they decide to freeze the mirror, and then secretly Caitlin Snow freezes the mirror to let him escape. Then we see Snart talking to Scudder, and we realize that the Flash crew is using a hologram to trap Scudder, and then Jessie spins the top like a top, which I thought was kind of funny actually, and then Flash creates an infinite reflective loop that Sam Scudder can escape. Kind of cool that Barry actually uses science. Barry uses a Flash fact, which, as comic book fans, you know, Barry in the comics all the time, he's a scientist. I love when Barry gets to be smart, because a lot of times Barry doesn't get to be smart.
It's something that I think is sort of lost in the TV show, too.
Flash should use science.
Yeah, they bring it up sort of when it's convenient, but normally we relegate science to the Star Labs Scooby Gang.
Then finally the new Harry Wells from Earth 17 shows up. He's still wearing the cool hat, and there's a "you're handsome, you're handsome. Oh, are we twins? Maybe we should go bone in the Star Labs closet" joke happens. But then the Harry Wells from Earth 2 goes back to Earth 2, but he warns Cisco that something is up with Caitlin. Finally, Barry reveals that he's going to move out of Joe's house, which is quite good because he's possibly in his 30s and that's getting a little weird. And then Caitlin freezes her shower when she's home, and she notices that her hair is going white, or as I like to call it, aka rogue. Now let's move into our rating of this episode, give some overall thoughts, and generally give a 1 to 5 lightning bolt rating of what we thought about this episode. Ashley, what did you think about the new Rogues?
I thought the new Rogues did a really good job at introducing something new, building on what we'd seen in the previous episode, and it had a really cool costume in it. So overall, I am going to give it...
Which one was the cool costume?
The tops. The top dress...
The top or Jessie Quick?
The top.
Okay.
Jessie Quick's costume is cool, but you said it, it's Trajectory's costume. But I would buy the Top's outfit and I would wear it in my real life. So Hot Topic.
Hot Topic, get on that.
So I'm going to give it 4 lightning bolts out of 5. I thought it was a
Nice.
really strong episode.
I agree. I thought this was a very strong Flash episode, which I'm very happy about because I thought last week's Magenta was kind of weak. I thought this was very strong. I love these new rogues.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that's interesting. We're 3 seasons into The Flash right now, and besides kind of the weather wizard who hasn't been great, the trickster who shows up only when Mark Hamill has free time in between Star Wars movies, and 2 Heatwave and Captain Cold who have been shunted over the Legends, we haven't seen much of the rogues.
They don't stick around. They're one and done villains for the most part. It's nice to see building that.
Yes, so I'm hoping that these 2 rogues stay around. We're building on the Killer Frost storyline, which is getting very interesting. I'm very sad that Harry Wells went back to Earth 2. I want him to stay, and I'm not so certain about this new Harrison Wells from Earth 19, I believe. But I still enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 lightning bolts as well.
Nice.
Now we're going to talk about our predictions for upcoming episodes of The Flash based on this episode. Ashley, do you have any predictions for the future of The Flash?
I do have a prediction for the future of The Flash. Okay. So, we're establishing this new Rogues Gallery. We kind of saw it introduced via Captain Cold.
No, just Rogues.
Just Rogues,
no
sorry. Rogues, sorry. New Rogues, Rogues Gallery is Batman. Oh my God. But I don't think Captain Cold is going to be a big part of it because he didn't stick around for a ton of this episode, whether that's scheduling, whatever, storytelling, I don't know. So I think we are going to see Caitlin go full on Killer Frost by about the midpoint of the season.
Okay.
And by the end of the season, I think she is going to replace Captain Cold as the leader of the Flash Rogues.
That's very interesting because I have a very similar theory.
Great minds.
Now, I think that we will get a full-on rogue of the rogues. I think we will see Trickster. I think we will see Weather Wizard. I think we will see Mirror Master and the Top. I think what will happen is Mirror Master and the Top will grab the other 2 and try to form a Rogues Gallery or something like that. Maybe they even try to pull in Killer Shark or somebody else like that.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Maybe they even try to pull in an Arrow villain. There's a couple Arrow villains you could throw in here,
yep.
like Murmur, who is a Flash rogue. Who was on Arrow last season. But I think what is going to happen is I think that Caitlin is going to be so desperate to hide her Killer Frost powers from her friends that she's going to make some sort of deal with the rogues for the fact to find Captain Cold. Because I think she's going to stumble upon something in the Cold gun or the cold technology that can help her powers.
Like the gun contains the cold, so maybe it can contain her powers or something?
Something, like maybe it can absorb and take away her powers. Now again, this theory might be bunked because I'm not certain, I'm pretty certain Cisco doesn't have a copy of the cold gun, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Because I think Caitlin would just be like, oh, whatever. I think it has to go Captain Cold. I think that's going to introduce Captain Cold back into the Flash at the mid-season finale. Killer Frost, Captain Cold in charge of the rogues.
I would love it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Flash friends, we want to know which one of our theories you think is more correct. Which one do you think is going to happen? You think Ashley's going to happen? You think mine's going to happen? When you're down there in the comments, let us know, and be sure to click subscribe. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm freezing.
Well, it wouldn't be freezing in here if you go on and check our Patreon, patreon.com/Jawiin. It's the one place on the internet where you can support all the videos that we make here. Yes!
Just how much longer is this going to take? I think it's like the Arctic in here.
Well, it won't be the Arctic in here for very much longer because next week we'll be back with another Flash recap show and we're going to talk about all the episodes of The Flash, Season 3.
I don't think I'm going to make it that long. My ice powers are starting.
Ooh, Winter Wonderland.